and welcome to Strat News Global. 25 years ago this day, that is 1st June 1999, I was told by my editor to come to Delhi from Guwahati, and there began the story of my love affair with Kargil. In this week's episode of Simply Nitin, I'm going to talk about the backstory of how I happened to go to Kargil all the way from Guwahati in Assam and then stayed there for 45 days to report the war between India and Pakistan on the icy heights of Kargil, Dras and Batalik. I'm Nitin Gokhale. So as it happened, Outlook magazine, for which I used to work at that point in time, in 1999, as their northeastern correspondent based in Guwahati, was obviously reporting the intrusions in Kargil and Dras, which were detected on 3rd of May, 1999. And then thereafter, lots of people started going to that area to report. It wasn't very clear until end of May when there were a lot of casualties that were mounting in Kargil. Soldiers were being inducted hurriedly. Troops were being inducted from Kashmir Valley first. And later, of course, a lot of artillery units were being taken to Kargil to take on the intruders, the Pakistani army intruders who had camouflaged themselves as militants in that area. And reports had started appearing that it's going to be a war, but a limited war in that area. So one fine day on a Monday afternoon, which was 1st of June, or 31st of May was 31st of May was in 1999 was a Monday and 1st was a Tuesday. So on 31st May, I was called by my editor's office, said, just come to Delhi as quickly as possible. Now, at that point in time in Guwahati, there was only one flight which used to come from Guwahati to Delhi, which was an Indian Airlines flight, and which had already left for Delhi. So I had no other option but to wait for the next day. So tried to get the ticket for the next day's flight. It used to be extremely difficult. So I had to approach Chief Minister's office to give me a seat from the quota of the Chief Minister. Somehow managed to get onto the plane the next day on Tuesday, which was 1st of June. And I landed in Delhi from Guwahati. And the moment I went to Outlook's headquarters at Safdarjung Enclave in Delhi, I was given 2 tickets to Leh the next morning, which was going to be Wednesday. And with me was... accompanying me on that trip was going to be Tribhuvan Tiwari, a newcomer to still photography, news photography in Outlook, and beginning his career there. So that's how I was told that you have to go to Kargil and bring the report back by Friday evening or Saturday morning. At most, latest time that you can come back is Friday evening or Saturday morning. Because the magazine used to be published by Saturday evening, it used to go into the market. That's how I was told, and I was inducted, like the troops, into the Kargil area on 1st of June 1999, exactly 25 years ago. Now, I had no clue where Kargil was, where Leh was. I had never been to Leh. Nevertheless, we sort of flew down to Leh early morning. Next day, that was 2nd of June. And there began my tryst with reporting the war, now known to be the most televised war in India in the past 30 years, where the images and the visuals of the Bofors gun firing on the peaks first came to our drawing rooms and our bedrooms. And of course, the surge of nationalism amongst people really came about because of the media reports and the kind of bravery and valor that was being shown by young officers and jawans of various units. So that's where I was looking at the old issues of Outlook. I stayed there for 45 days. after going there on, like I said, on 2nd of June, and came back on 26th of July. There was one occasion in between where I had come back to Delhi and I had gone back again to Leh to go to Kargil just for a weekend break. One advantage of being in a weekly magazine or a weekly magazine reporter was that there were no pressures of daily deadlines as far as I was concerned or my photographer was concerned. But it was interesting how initially we struggled. And in fact, I almost did not get my first story. The deadline was very tight, as I mentioned. So when we reached Leh that day, my immediate boss, Ajit Pillai, who had come in the 2 previous weeks, when the extent of intrusions and others were not known, he had given some tips about how to survive in that area. So at Leh, we loaded our Tata Sumo vehicle, which we had hired, with dal, chawal, biscuits, Bisleri water, and chocolates to survive for at least in the next 4 or 5 days, because we were told there's nothing available in Kargil town, which was emptied. People had fled because of shelling there. There was no hotels, and food was going to be scarce because nobody was there to cook it. That's how we reached Kargil on 2nd of June. About 8 hours, 9 hours drive from Leh. Now it takes about 6 hours. It used to take 8 to 9 hours that time. So by the time we reached there, it was late evening, around 8 o'clock. There was nothing to be done. And we, of course, looked around for a hotel. And we were told there is a hotel called Hotel Siachen, which might have some beds. But when we went there, they said we are already full. We just got about 5 rooms and people have already taken them. So bad luck, you make your own arrangements. So for the first night, we actually slept in the Tata Sumo and decided that we will go to the area where we can capture some visuals of the ongoing battle or troops moving into higher reaches of the peaks there next day, which is going to be a Thursday. So we rested that night. Next morning, early morning, 5 o'clock, we started from Kargil. We were told we should go to Dras, which was 60 kilometers away. It is 60 kilometers away, where the action is. Tololing and other 4875, 5140, all these peaks were being mentioned, which were occupied by Pakistani intruders, and India was trying to reclaim them by sending troops up the slope against the enemy sitting up there. So when we started off early morning, there was a car, the vehicle had overturned outside Kargil town and the road was blocked. So we said, where do we go? And we were told, you can go to Batalik. We went to Batalik, which was on the other side, and which was not a favored destination of reporters, because it was the road was only available up to a point, and beyond that it was not going to be easy to travel. So we tried to go to Batalik. We couldn't get through. The sentry stopped us, and this was the whole of the day that was available to us was rapidly receding away. And I remember getting nervous, panicking, and thinking, where are we going to go? But a stroke of luck, an officer I knew in the Northeast happened to be part of the 121 Independent Brigade in Kargil. I ran into him at the place called Da in Biyama sector, in the Batalik sector. He helped with information and also access to that area. And that's where the first of the photographs of Kargil on my watch or during my time in Kargil really were shot, and we could get some more details about what was happening there. Otherwise, it was going to be a tough task for Tribhuvan Tiwari as well as me, because we were not getting enough stories. So some of these pictures that you see here, and the ammunition being dumped, the trucks being ready. I'm just looking at that, the story there. And this is the Batalik sector where people were going up. As you can see, the caption here is Indian troops moving up in the Batalik sector. The rugged mountains and the peaks are visible in these photographs. These were the first photographs that Tribhuvan got at the end of that day, where we had almost given up hope of getting any details, any story, any information. But these are the first pictures. And that's how the ammunition being dumped, stockpiling artillery shells, these pictures were done. So we drove back to Leh from there. It was a arduous drive back because the driver was tired and he said, I can't go further, I have to rest. So we requested him that you rest, I will drive. So I drove for a couple of hours in the hills. We came back to Leh around midnight and under candlelight, because there was no electricity in Leh that time for some reason. So under candlelight, I wrote the first story, which was sent with Tribhuvan next day's flight to Delhi, and then the first story got published. Following Sunday and Saturday, of course, I slept because this was a very stressful first few days in Kargil. I was new, I didn't know any place, but I still got the story. And on Sunday, another photographer colleague from Outlook came, and then we went back to Dras and Batalik, and that's how the stories started coming in. As you can see, I was looking at revisiting Kargil later. Now, these are later cover stories. This is a July 26th cover, which in fact, where we reviewed the entire 45-50-day war, of how it happened, what India managed to do right, what India couldn't do right. All that was done. As you can see, several cover stories that we did. There was fighting every inch of the way was one story. There was another story which talked about what would happen post-Kargil, nuclear option, because India and Pakistan both had gone into the nuclear mode at that point in time. And before that, I must tell you a story that how did I get that assignment from my editor. When the war broke out or the intrusions were detected in first week of May, the bodies had started piling. There was a lot of loss of life, and that's where the bodies were being sent back in coffins to various locations where they belong to. Those soldiers belong to. And in that, what happened was that I got information that one soldier from 111 Gorkha Rifles was killed in Batalik sector, and his body was being brought to a village in Darjeeling district. So I headed there with a photographer from Calcutta, and this is this first photograph of that, because Rifleman Lincoln Pradhan of Gorkha Rifles. So the question that was asked to me when we were going down the hill, taking the coffin back into the village, is he really him? Because nobody knew what was there inside that coffin, which was a makeshift coffin. But this is what we did, our team of Outlook reporters across the country. As you can see, there is a photograph from Maharashtra, Eknath Khairnar's father and nephew, who died in Kargil sector. His body was being taken to a part in Maharashtra. I had gone to Darjeeling, and that's how we were all covering all aspects of the war at that point in time. And when the editorial meeting took place in the Outlook headquarters on that Monday, which used to be every Monday, the big editorial meeting used to happen. So the question was raised that who will go now to Kargil, because editors were required to be at the headquarters because they would treat the stories, they would edit the stories. But you needed a reporter or a field reporter to go there and get the stories. So suddenly my immediate boss, Ajit Pillai, suggested my name. He said, Nitin deals with military and militants in the Northeast, and he knows the military a bit. So why don't we send him? That's how that decision was taken by Vinod Mehta, my best editor in my career, who sort of took me under his wings and said, okay, go. And he reposed that confidence as far as my reporting was concerned. And that's where, all these things started. So we used to send handwritten notes, of course, and then maps used to be drawn on rough paper, which used to be sent to the headquarters, and the illustrator. And if I remember his name, Jayachandran was the illustrator, and there was Raj, of course, and there was Jayachandran, who was our other illustrator or head of graphics, who used to then call and ask for clarifications. Is this point 5140? Is this Tiger Hill? What are you trying to indicate? What is National Highway 1A? So that's how all these graphics were drawn. And if you see the battle for Tiger Hill, when we talk about many of these maps were hand drawn, as you can see in the picture on the screen, like this map, for instance. This was hand drawn by me and sent to Delhi. And then they, of course, made these graphics and done by Raj here. These are the pictures you can see from the other side. And of course, some people went to the military hospitals, base hospitals. They did all that. So it was a learning on the job, improvising as we went along, trial and error. That's how it was. So that's where the entire reporting team, for instance, this map was completely drawn from memory. After I came back to Delhi on 26th of July, 2 or 3 of us who had reported from Kargil sat together and we recapped Kargil, for instance, like this, that it started on 6th May, 3rd May it was detected. We got to know as media on 6th May, presence of intruders seen in Dras and Batalik Kargil areas. 19th May, Pakistani helicopter photographed heading back to POK. That's how it kept on going. Indian Air Force Mi-17 shot down by a Stinger missile, which we'll talk about. These are the things that we started. And finally, the war ended on 26th of July, as you would see here. 6th of July and then finally 26th of July is officially ceasefire was declared. That's where it came. I'm not going to disclose too many things here because as probably some of you know, we are going to do a long, 1 hour long plus, 1 hour plus long documentary on 25 years of Kargil or revisiting Kargil 25 years on. Me as a reporter going back to the areas where we reported from in that summer of 1999 and taking key players who won hard-fought victories for India. They were commanding officers. That time, Lieutenant Colonel Y.K. Joshi, later Army Commander during the Galwan crisis, Northern Army Commander Lieutenant General Y.K. Joshi, Brigadier, that time Colonel Kushal Thakur of 18 Grenadiers, later retired as Brigadier, of course also commanded the same brigade in Dras. Taking him back there, Major General, that time Major Suresh Mahanti was the brigade major, now called G1 of a brigade, of 56 Brigade stationed there, recalling how he had to coordinate at least 9 battalions, which means almost 9,000 people going up the peaks, trying to recapture that. All that, we took him. I took Major General Alok Deb, that time Colonel Alok Deb, who was the CEO of a artillery field unit, 197 Field Artillery. And we took Brigadier Devinder Singh, who was the brigadier then of the 70 Brigade, the brigade commander of 70 Brigade, which had the toughest task in the Batalik, Khalugar, Kukarthang sector, which had no roads. They were going up the nalas, climbing up the hills, and then evicting the intruders from there. That's where the first Paramveer Chakra was awarded in Kargil for 2 Captain Manoj Pandey, Lieutenant Manoj Pandey, and then Captain Manoj Pandey posthumously of 111 Gorkha Rifles. And we took officiating commanding officer of 111 GR, retired as brigadier, but that time he was a Lieutenant Colonel, Amul Astana, who recalled the horrific details in which and the kind of struggle and the kind of setbacks they faced initially and how difficult it was to climb those peaks and evict the intruding Pakistanis. That's how we have done that. So that documentary is going to be interesting, even if I am saying so. Do keep a lookout for the exact date and the release of that documentary. But I thought since today, Saturday is 1st June, it's better to recall right from the beginning how I went there and what happened. And the war, remember, after 26 July, although it was concluded officially, it continued. And in fact, we had a cover story on 23rd August the war continues, because there was a Pakistani plane which had tried to intrude into the western borders. It was shot down, the marine plane, and elections were happening at that point in time in India. Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the Prime Minister. And of course, we also were Outlook was completing 5 years, October 2000. So there also we recall the Kargil war and the reportage and how we planned it, what went wrong, what went right, all that happened. So it's a long story. I just am giving you a short glimpse of what it was that time. The communications equipment, communications modes were not as advanced as today. And the most unfortunate part of all this, from my point of view, is that I don't have a single photograph of mine in the war zone, because that time I was a print journalist and we never thought about taking our own pictures, nothing. I think I had one picture next to a board saying second coldest place in the world, which is Dras. But that photograph I am not able to find. That's the only picture I remember taking, because it fascinated me that minus 60 degrees can be temperature at some place where people stay or live. That's the memory that I have. Several other memories which we'll talk about as we go along. But do watch out for our documentary and our series on revisiting Kargil 25 years on. Not just me, but also the veterans who led India to victory in that war. That's all I have. This will perhaps trigger a lot of memories for those who were adults at that point in time. Those of the people, the viewers who were born after 2000, perhaps this is the first time you will hear more details of Kargil, or you will see what happened at that point in time. Certainly this idea of revisiting Kargil and making a film came from my elder son, Harsh, who was 10 years old that time. He asked me whether I'm making any movie or recalling that event, because he remembers distinctly trying to mobilize people and getting donations from people and blood donation drive in school in Guwahati. So that's how these stories get triggered, or these ideas get triggered. This was one of them. So do keep watching Strat News Global, and of course Simply Nitin every Saturday. We'll bring you interesting anecdotes, stories, recalls, revisits, and your feedback, always important. Your comments, always welcome. So until the next time, do keep watching not just Simply Nitin, but also other programs on Strat News Global and our sister concern, Bharat Shakti. For the time being, it's goodbye.